Hey guys, Doug Giles here with Warriors, Rich, and
Wildmen. What's up, Doug Giles?
Hey, we're
Man with the plan.
Yeah, that's me, man.
Doug, you are
the man with the
man
plan.
with the plan.
I am. I'm like an action hero. They ought to make a doll out of me. Maybe a Precious Moments figurine. What do you think about that?
I think they should make Precious Moment figurine, Christmas tree, decoration, ornament, Doug Giles edition.
Amen. Amen. We'll toss that to them. See if we can get some research and development, the R&D boys on it.
All right, we'll get on that.
And have it in time for Christmas, and we'll put it on the Warriors and Wildmen store that's forthcoming very soon.
I love it. Hey, Doug.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you've been watching the weather, but according to Trump, it's been a little stormy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to see those clouds anywhere around my person. You know what I mean?
When those clouds are rolling, it's time to change lives.
Hey, we've been talking about courage. The Warriors and Wildmen junkies, they know that. And we're going to segue, do a little do-si-do off of that topic, and we're going to talk about character. And, guys and Rich, we've been handed this humongous, I'm talking ocean buoy size matzo balls to talk about this week. And it all started and really got the ball kicked in motion when Stormy Daniels goes on 60 Minutes to be interviewed by Saint Anderson Cooper. Rich, are you familiar with Saint Anderson?
Professing openly homosexual man?
Yeah, what's funny about CNN and 60 Minutes and the likes of Saint Anderson Cooper and Saint Don Lemon, as they say down in Brazil.
And Saint Stormy.
Saint Stormy. But Anderson, we got this video of Anderson getting spanked by Madonna, having her simulate a sex act upon him while his back is turned to her, if you know what I'm talking about. And then
I saw that video.
And then he finishes up his little birthday soiree at this live concert. Remember, this is the most trusted name in news main actor, and who's now doing the finger-wagging Rich tisk upon all the Fox News guys that have gotten canned, and our sitting president, Donald Trump. That's their judge. That's their moral high ground. And the dude, from a character standpoint, he's got zilch. I'm talking nada.
I got something good for you. I got something good. Are you ready?
You know I'm a visual guy, so if you give me a word picture and it's too gross.
Here we go. I'm gonna get. It's not gonna be a word picture, but I want you to think about this. So, a professing sodomite is saying that this multi-billionaire having sex with a porn star for money is too much. And we would say, what about you? And you know what he would say, Doug? This is what he'd say. I guarantee you, I'm not the president of the United States. Newsflash. Either was the Don. Either was the Donald. He wasn't president. Matter of fact, he wasn't a politician. He wasn't even thinking about running for being president. He was a multi-billionaire who had sex with a porn star for money, and everybody's getting surprised. Now, I'm not talking about the moral part of that. We're definitely going to get into that. But what about the common sense thing of, can you believe that a very powerful, wealthy man paid to have sex with a famous porn star? No, you know what, Doug? To me, that blows my mind. I can't believe that mega billions of dollar industry would produce people wanting to have sex with porn stars. I don't even know what to say.
Shock of shocks, man. You know,
Did you almost pass out? Were you like, I don't even believe it happened?
Yep. Anderson Cooper, the freshly puritanical pearl clutching Anderson is going to sew a scarlet letter, the A for adultery, onto Donald Trump's cardigan sweater. And like you pointed out, he wasn't president. Bill Clinton, on the other hand, was president when he's groping Kathleen Willey. When he's, governor of Alabama or Arkansas, when he was flopping out his penis to...
No, bring it home, Doug. Bring it home. What happened while he was president in the Oval Office?
He had a little splooge on Monica's blue dress. Yeah, and he lied about it under oath, which is, I believe, a high crime and a misdemeanor, if I remember law correctly.
Yeah, something about perjury, and I don't know. But let's not bother things.
Hey, Rich, Trump also was a Democrat when he had this dalliance with.
Well, that's why he did it. He was a Democrat.
There you go. They have no standards whatsoever. Hey, one of the things that just when talking about character, and I know it's a weird diving board to jump off of in a grand and noble topic to begin with Stormy Daniels, but man, I was sitting there watching her, and aside from her humongous dilated pupils that never retracted under heavy TV lights, I was sitting there looking at her as a dad, just thinking how ashamed, because I think her old man's still alive and he's kicking around down in Louisiana. You know what? I would be gutted, Rich. Absolutely gutted that something that has my last name, that has my DNA, has such a shoddy, baseless, living in the moment, no eternal perspective, no real care or concern for, what she's doing to her child. She's got a freaking kid, man. And she's talking about, supposedly one of Trump's goons threatened me. Your whole life threatens your child? Can you imagine when she Googles you when she hits 12 or 13? Hey. It's ladies, please. I know you feel free and liberated. Do not, for whatever reason, money, fame, or power, follow Stormy Daniels' trail.
Boom.
Wow.
Hashtag, you're a porn star, shut up.
Yeah, and there she is. Again, total, it's so weird to me, man, that her and Anderson, like you said, a guy whose penchants run to the unnatural, and a girl who's just a pirate hooker. She's an old porn star, Rich, and they are the judge and jury about a man's character and his possible lapse into sin. It's stupefying that would even get parlayed to the public, man.
People would even listen to that. But I guess the ratings and the viewership on that was super low too, because nobody cares.
No, it actually went through the roof. I think it was one of the most highly watched.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, 60 Minutes. I think they had 2 million viewers.
Well, there I am, uninformed once again.
That's why I'm here, brother. That's why I'm here, man.
I got you, man. Back me up.
Here's something, going off the Stormy stuff, focusing on Trump and his decision. That's a good reason, man, and all the crap he's going through right now. That's a good reason to keep the snake in the cage, and be faithful to your wife. Don't have sex with a porn star. And he didn't wear a condom, brother. Ah!
Hey, let's throw this out there. We've been talking about how it makes sense. We get it. He wasn't president. But in all seriousness, and I know you believe this too, Doug, when we look at it from God's perspective, sex outside of marriage is wrong. Adultery is more than that. It's not just sexual immorality, it's adultery. And God hates that. That's in the 10 Commandments. And it's listed multiple times in the New Testament. The people that do that are not going to heaven. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't be forgiven and go to heaven. But if you do that, and you continue to do that, and you don't repent of that, you're going to hell. And that's Bible. And I don't want to make light of that. I know you're not doing that either, but I don't want anybody to think that we don't understand the seriousness of the issue. That's what we're talking about. But from just a reasonable standpoint of, here's a guy that's a very powerful man that's now president, and that this many years ago he did, well, we get that. It makes sense, But the reality is, when it comes down to it, man, we got to do what God says. And when you do it God's way, it always works out. Well, it doesn't always work out better. It works out better for you and God, that's for sure.
Yeah, and that's why Paul said, to Timothy, he said, hey, listen. And he told him this when he wrote this in 2 Timothy, so it's not like when he's just a young squab. But he told Timothy, which, some historians say that he's in his 40s now. He told old Timmy, he said, Tim, hey, Paul here, flee youthful lust.
Yeah.
And pursue righteousness with those who call upon God from a pure heart. those things, that's stuff that appeals to our lower cortex, self-obsessed me monkey genital sac. Those things can carry way over past your teens and 20s. And I think Trump was 60 when or 57, 58, something like that, when supposedly this occurred. King David, according to some historians, was 52 when he boinked Bathsheba. And those things that, those proclivities, those inclinations, bents, whatever, that we have as lost people, that we, probably, like with Trump, obviously, fully unleashed and lived out as a multimillionaire and billionaire. Mm-hmm. That kind of crap, man, can come back and kick your ass and cause you a CNN 60-minute nightmare.
For real. And listen to this, Doug. You know this. Other than Jesus, David is the most favorite Bible character of anybody. People love David. People relate to David. They love to read about David. They want to hear about David. And David's known as a man after God's own heart, but he failed. So when we talk about character, how does David, and I was reading something this morning as I was preparing for the podcast, I was reading something this morning that said, character is not just your propensity, but your mindset, what you think about, what you desire, and how you live, your actions, ultimately. But it starts with the way you think. And he said this, he said, it doesn't mean that you won't have flaws. And it brought up David. And it said, David is known as a man of character. And he said, who made a mistake? See, that was out of his character. That's out of character for him. But it shows that it's possible, right? So character doesn't mean that you don't ever do anything wrong. But character is, this is how I live. And when you do something that's wrong, it is out of character for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, Solomon said, he goes, the righteous fall 7 times and they get up. I mean, the fact that, because, here's something that I really want to get across, and thank you for putting that ball in motion, man, is that, every time I hear people talk about, character, and we got to be people of character, and I agree. I want to be sharp, solid, and smart.
No, I don't think anybody's arguing that, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, who wants to be some shady guy who's, a snake oil salesman and lacks integrity? Nobody does.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that I find it interesting with a lot of these guys. Like, take Trump's adultery, for instance, whether it's with McDougal, if he did it, or with Stormy, or whomever, that he's had dalliances with. When I hear, Rich, some of these people popping off on Facebook or on television, and I'm not talking about the squirrely turds like Anderson Cooper and all of the cuckoo branch that makes up the quote-unquote journalist on CNN. I'm talking about some of these conservative and Christian guys saying, oh, I can't believe that he would do such a thing. He so lacks character. You know what? There's not a bunch of chicks like with Tiger Woods or with Donald Trump that are lining up to screw you because you are a meal ticket. And I guarantee that if some of these people all of a sudden came into that kind of money and that kind of power, that they would have a lot of vajayjay tossed at them. They would walk off the golf course and there'd be a busload of Scandinavian blondes ready to bang their brains out.
Yep.
And I wonder, Rich, if they would be so forthright and so full of conviction. Character, it shows you what's in you, and the only way that you know what's in you is when you get squeezed. And that's when you...
Yeah, you know what?
Maybe I'm not.
Yeah, we don't even know until you're tested. It's not character until it's tested. It's like an ugly person bragging about being a virgin. You never had an opportunity. How do we know? So it's like some stupid idiot guy who's never been around anybody hot in their life trying to make their case for how awesome they are. And it's like, you've never had a chance. You again, right's right, wrong's wrong. Nobody's arguing that. But don't try to put yourself up on some level when you've never been at that place that they're at. That's craziness to me.
Yeah. No, and I can tell you right now, Rich, if I was a lost billionaire, I'd do it. I'd probably do it. If Playboy Playmate...
Here's the problem with Tiger...
Playboy Playmate comes around...
with Tiger Woods.
Boom, done.
People said about Tiger Woods, they said, well, he had to go to counseling and to rehab because he's a sex addict. And I said, I told this to my church, Doug. I said, I'm going to tell you something right now. You cannot rehab someone from their dream. And I said, young men growing up wishing they could be with three $10,000 a night prostitutes for a weekend at a time. That's their dream. And I said, and half you guys sitting in this church are still thinking about that garbage. And you're sitting there going, yeah, he needs to go to rehab. You need no rehab, man. You need to repent. First, you got to start and admit that it's wrong. Look, your lower nature likes it. I mean, it's not, that's the problem, Doug, is we're forgetting two things right here. One, we are part fallen nature. Number two, if you're a Christian, you should have the Spirit of God living inside of you. But guess what? Your fallen nature, it still would like to do stuff like that. You don't have millions of dollars hanging around Vegas for a couple weeks, you know?
You drive a Prius.
I mean, I don't.
You're not pulling up you're not pulling up in a Bentley.
All
right. Is the wheel on one of his cars costs more than probably the entire vehicle of all these people saying he doesn't have character. I do have character. No, you don't have any money. You got a crap car. Your complexion's all gross. You got radical, violent halitosis, and no chick wants to bed you. And that's the reason why you have character. Nobody wants to screw you, so you don't even know whether you do it or not. And listen, those who think that they would never do it, that they could never do it, you don't know yourself. You're probably self-deceived. I guarantee if you could probably get away with it, if you could make it to heaven, if you could escape your wife's notice or any of that other stuff, you would still you'd probably do it. And to think that you wouldn't, that's cuckoo talk, man.
Let me throw this out.
You don't understand how dark our soul is.
A lot of these guys are watching porn, Christian guys, and then saying, Trump shouldn't be, how can a Christian support Trump? And it's like, you're doing the poor man's version on your phone at your house when your wife's in bed. He was doing the billionaire version. It's called 3D. So try to put your self-righteousness on me. Right's right, wrong's wrong, and it's all wrong. You got to shut it down in your mind first, and don't go there. You know what? Or you'll, hopefully, look, billions of dollars does one thing. It gives you the freedom to do whatever's in your head. And I'll tell you what, Donald Trump is shown to be a lot better than a lot of other people with a lot of money. And like I said, I'm not trying to compare him to Jesus, but hey.
And again, for context, for the Warriors and Wildmen listener, that was 12 years ago, man. That was 12, 13 years ago. Currently, the new and improved 2.0 Donald Trump, I think he's been keeping his promises, which is a sign of, what's that word we're talking about? Oh, character. Yeah. So here, 12 years ago, 13 removed, 12 years, 13 years ago removed, all of a sudden they're trying to crap on him, say he's got zero character, when for the last 2 years, pretty much every promise that he's made to the American people, he has kept and he's fulfilled and he's enacted those policies, just boom, lickety split like that. To me, it's.
Well, let me take it a step farther, Doug. I'm gonna say, you might not agree with me on this, but I think he's saved. I literally think he says he is, but I literally think Donald Trump had a conversion experience. I believe that from the things that I see and the things that he said. I have never seen a president so pro-life, like a crusader, ever in my life. He was at Billy Graham's funeral. No other living president attended that funeral. I mean, I'm telling you, Doug, I think he's saved. I'm, and a lot of people disagree with me, but I'm saying it. I believe it.
Yeah, no, I've got some folks that are close to people that are in the White House, and they say the Bible studies, the prayer meetings, they'll come in there and slap hands on him and pray over him, and supposedly, according to Ben Carson, I believe that Carson said that Trump accepted Christ. So, tree's known by its fruit, and a lot of people say, well, he still cusses. And he still fights back against his enemies. It's again, I don't think there's anything Trump can do, Rich, that is going to satisfy the never Trumpers. Definitely not on the left.
Yeah.
But in regards to character, man, I Tell you what happened with Stormy and with Donald this week. It shows the importance of frickin' saying no and running for your life, like Joseph did. Here he was, at Potiphar's house. He's like, "All right, man, I got it made." And then Potiphar's hot Egyptian chick starts coming on to him. He didn't stand. He didn't pray in tongues. He didn't say, "I rebuke you, foul wench." No. He ran. And sometimes when it comes to temptation, a good run's better than a bad stand, man.
You got that right. And I'll tell you what, I heard a great teaching on that one time. Because think about this. Joseph was good looking. He was away from every other person that knew God. He did not know. There was no other person there. Nobody would know what he should do or what he shouldn't do. It was just between him and God, because that's character and integrity, right? Who you are when you're by yourself. He's there with her. And I heard this. This guy said, "Hey, Joseph, come here." "Yeah, what do you want?" "You want to sleep with me?" "Nah, I'm not tired." "No, I'm not talking about that, Joseph. Let's go to bed." He said, "Well, why would we do that?" She said, "Because we're alone." He said, "No, we're not." She said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Because you're here, I'm here, and myself is here. And after we do that and you leave, I still have to live with myself. And I don't want a civil war." Come on, Doug.
I don't even think he talked to her, man. I think he hauled butt. I think he ran Rich so quick.
I think he said, "Dang, she's hot. I'm gone."
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's, it goes back to the stuff we're talking about with Billy Graham. He was just like, "Nope, not going. There's going to be a girl in the hotel room, girl in the elevator, girl in my car alone. Nope, I ain't doing it." And I don't know if it's because, he's like, "I am the most holy person ever," or if it was more like, you know what? This, first of all, it looks bad. Second of all, she could say that I pinched her on the hootie patootie and, I'm screwed. I have no defense against it. And third, I probably, have the ability deep down again in my evil side of Billiness that I would, I would jump on that like stink on a monkey,
You think Billy Graham was a man?
He looks like
a man. He was a wise man and a man with character.
Yeah,
I should have listened to Billy more. I would have stayed out of half the trouble I got in. I could tell you that.
I agree, brother. I agree. And I think that, to me, the walk away with all of this is just say no to screwing porn stars if you're a married billionaire. And I guess we could, from an asterisk standpoint, put other women or men, and Donald, always remember the cardinal rule of politics is never be caught in bed with a dead woman or a live man.
Hey, I would put another asterisk to that would say this. Do not commit adultery. Do not commit sexual immorality. If you're a married billionaire or if you're a 13-year-old teenager going to high school, whoever you are, wherever you're at, keep yourself pure, keep yourself right, because there are benefits to that you won't understand until later. The payoff for that is gold, and it's always worth it. Keep yourself straight, keep yourself pure. Get in sports, get busy, man. Get involved in church. Get out there and get a hobby. Start hunting, start working out. Keep yourself busy. And when you get married, do the same thing.
Yeah, and if you did blow it, like David did, like you said, I mean, it's pretty clear in Acts chapter 13 where God said, hey, he served his generation. Jesus said he loved me with all of his heart. And he kind of had a whoopsie daisy when he committed.
He had a little sex and killed somebody, but other than that, he was a good guy.
Just adultery and murder. And this is for all the Christians saying, "I can't believe Trump committed adultery or whomever you can't believe." Hey, David did it, and he wrote the Psalms, pretty close to God. If he strum on his heart, freaking demons leave. And God wrote him up at the end, Rich. He said, "That's my boy, man. Served his generation." David said in Psalm 119, I think in around the 60s, 70s, he goes, until I fell, he said, I didn't keep your law. But now that I've been broken, he said, now it's my delight. It's my Gatorade. It's my thirst quencher.
Yeah, that's right.
He said, I learned a lot of stuff coming out of that collapse. And so before anybody starts tisk and Donald Trump or whoever, King David, Abraham, Solomon, good Lord. He had thousands of
Samson.
chicks. Samson, and the list goes on of people who, like Donald Trump, did fail. But you know what? Oh my God. Did they bounce back? And did they become effective, broken leaders for God's purpose?
Well, I'll tell you what, Doug, for me, I'm thankful for the grace of God, the mercy of God, and people are going to be people, and they're going to be critical. They're going to look at the worst things. A famous pastor told me one time, he said, unfortunately, the people will always point at and remember the worst thing you ever did. I'm glad that God doesn't think like that. And so our job also is to renew our minds where we could see people as better than that. You know, the people that are close to us that we really love, we tend to give them another chance. And you know what's funny is if we are acting like this towards other people, it's probably because we aren't loving them like people. We're objectifying them. We're looking at them as an inanimate object, as a target of my hatred, rather than that's a person that God loves, that has great qualities and sometimes fails. And I need to believe in people. That's my out, Doug. That's all I got to say about that.
What does the Warrior and Wildmen listener who's not a part of this great group of men and women who are wanting to become this thing, Rich, called providers, protectors, hunters, and heroes, what do they need to do?
They need to go to Warriors and Wildmen, to our podcast. You need to subscribe. Go to our Facebook page. Got some exciting things rolling out pretty quick. For those that are commenting on there, you see that Doug and I both try to respond to your comments as quick as we can because we want to interact with you guys. We want to hear what you have to say. Great insight. Guys are making some good points. Even guys disagreeing with some stuff's been really good. If you're anonymous, shut the hell up. We don't want to hear from you. If you don't have the balls to stand by what you say, you don't count. And so if we weren't on camera, I'd tell you other things to your face, but obviously you don't have the stones to do that either. Warriors and Wildmen, you need to hook it up, make it happen. Let's get together and help each other be better, do great things.
Boom.